Predictably, no one tuned in to watch the Grammy Awards because people are tired of the woke elites in entertainment celebrating themselves. Just like the Oscars, it was the second lowest rated of all time. But something interesting that did come out of this was when Louis C.K. won for Best Comedy Album, it provided woke lunatics on Twitter and in the industry a chance to show just how stupid they truly are. Louis C.K.'s Grammy win stirs questions and controversy. Voters in the comedy community supported CK despite the controversy. Voters from outside the comedy community weren't likely to use up a field just to ding him. And the fact is that, Louis C.K. is a controversial figure. 5 years ago at this point, Louis C.K. did get canceled. And when I say canceled, it's true. He lost his deal at Netflix. He lost a deal with FX. The movie that he was about to put out literally didn't even get put out. They didn't release it. That's how bad the backlash was for Louis C.K. Now, it was all about things that happened in the 90s and the early 2000s with him essentially jerking off in front of women and asking that they do the same thing. Actual stuff that he admitted and apologized for. Things that happened a decade before that came to light. And you know what? For years, Louis C.K. was gone. He was not in the public space. He was ostracized. Nobody wanted anything to do with him. And finally, after making apologies and trying to atone for things, he comes back. And now people want to say, this cancel culture, it doesn't exist. Look at what this white man is doing. All while you berate Will Smith over slapping someone in the face. These people are absolute idiots. And it makes me laugh to see how they lost their minds when Louis C.K. won the other day. Let's take a look at this. Louis C.K. wins Grammy. Twitter lashes out with Will Smith comments. Social media watchdogs are already barking about the 2022 Grammy Awards, Louis C.K. with Best Comedy Album honors. Sincerely, Louis C.K. beat out recordings by fellow comics Kevin Hart, Nate Bargatze, Louis Black, Chelsea Handler, and Lavelle Crawford. This is CK's first comedy special since the canceled Joker admitting to masturbating in front of a group of women without their consent in 2017. He was not even present. He didn't even go to the award show, likely because he knew that the backlash would exist if he was there. LeVar Burton ended up accepting it for him on his behalf. Social media immediately lit up with Twitter users condemning CK and the Recording Academy, all while dragging infamous Oscar slapper Will Smith into the drama. I don't want to hear anything else about Will Smith now that Louis C.K. was not only nominated, but just won an award. One Twitter critic sniped. You saw somebody else put this down here. So much for cancel culture. Apparently you can just do whatever you want if you're famous. And we have a couple more of these to get to, but I just want to put it out there that Louis C.K. did some stuff he should not have done, decades ago. It then all came to light, and he literally had a film canceled. He had to deal with Netflix canceled. He had to deal with FX canceled. All these things fell apart. Nobody wanted anything to do with him for years. And then finally, after being ostracized for years, he comes back. Isn't that what we want people to do? Don't we want them to change who they are? If there's something wrong with them and they acknowledge there's something wrong, don't we want them to change and persevere and get better? Otherwise, what is even the point? And there's a big difference in getting canceled, say, for your political opinion versus, consequences happening for something like this coming out to light. There's no doubt about that. But the fact that these people still want to go out and say cancel culture doesn't exist while they're demanding the Grammys ignore Louis C.K., while demanding that no one ever gives him a award or recognizes him ever again or ever gives him any work again is laughable. But we have more. Here's this person, Dr. Mia Brett. Louis C.K. just won a whole ass Grammy while y'all were either calling for Will Smith's head or crying about cancel culture. There are no consequences for white cis men. Shut the fuck up. You know what? We might as well do this one right now. I was gonna save this for last. We might as well do this one. LOL, Chris Brown beat the shit out of Rihanna in 2009 and won a Grammy 3 years later. Save the crocodile tears over Louis C.K., you absolute losers. Hey morons on Twitter, Chris Brown physically assaulted Rihanna, didn't spend a day in jail, got probation, broke it, didn't face consequences, and continued abusing for years, all while winning awards and making millions. Louis C.K. pulled his dick out and was a creepy perv, and everyone clutches their pearls and think he should be banished from society forever, and nothing will ever be good enough to make up for it. You don't care about Louis, and you can't even name the women that were involved. You don't care about this. You think you do because you get a dopamine hit from a fave or a retweet, so you adjust your internal algorithm to yell into the void takes and feelings that get retweeted by people who already agree with you. I love that, and he's 100% right. This has nothing to do with Louis C.K. being white. Absolutely nothing. And in fact, if anything, it only delayed the amount of time he was away from society before he was accepted back in. Let's get the fucking facts straight about that. We all know that that's the case. And he did. He faced severe consequences for everything that happened. This is Jen Kirkman, I believe, a comedian, former stand-up comic, now they're a writer or whatever. It's a woman, so I assume they weren't very funny, but that's just an assumption. I'm just playing the odds there. To every media person in my emails today asking me for a comment about Louis C.K., stop asking me. Ask male comedians. Why not ask Patton Oswalt, Judd Apatow, Mark Maron, David Cross, Bo Burnham, Aziz Ansari, Pete Holmes, Rory Scovel, just a list of male comedians. Stop asking us women. It's obvious what we think. Hold the men accountable. What else do we have? The silence from all the male comedians today over Louis C.K. winning a Grammy is amazing, considering how they were chomping at the bit to bemoan the slap a week ago. Not one has the balls to say something. It was just an insane amount of screeching and reading on Twitter. And something I thought was interesting here was this Hollywood Reporter article. Even so, the fact that he won has stirred controversy and raised questions. How could he win? Especially when the Recording Academy had been working overtime to boost the number of women and other underrepresented groups in the Academy. You know what? Maybe it was just a good album. Maybe Louis C.K. is just a funny motherfucker. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's why he won the Grammy. These people are so cringe, they're so hypocritical, they're so idiotic, and they will never be able to understand how demanding that someone exit from society completely. And if that doesn't happen, if that's not the case for every single person you deem it to be the case for, then obviously there's no such thing as cancel culture. You are trying to perpetuate that. That's what you're trying to do. And just because someone came back in 4 years instead of never, you say, oh, well, this thing doesn't exist. Fuck these people. Louis C.K. didn't listen to it, have no idea if it was a good album or not, but the fact that he's caused so much outrage after being banished and ostracized for so long tells you everything you need to know about the woke losers online. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.
Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.